Hi there, Virgo Sun and Rising. Welcome to your August 2022 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So, as we begin the month of August, the Sun is in your 12th house, in the sign of Leo. This is the hibernation time when the Sun is in Leo from late July until about the third week in August. And Virgo Sun and rising people, when you have the Sun in the 12th, you may be feeling more introspective, less social. And, the 12th house is the hermit house, and that is you uh, in the tarot being the hermit. So maybe there's some connection there as well. But even early on in the month of August, your ruler, Mercury, is actually going into your sign. And that means it's coming out of that 12th house into the first house. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted because I'm trying to get all my notes that I have on my laptop in a shade that I like, because I'm really into colors. And if I don't have the particular color that I'm looking for, then I feel a little bit off kilter. And it's funny because I have the moon in Virgo myself, so I'm kind of like the princess and the pea. If I don't have things perfectly to my liking, then I'm a little bit distracted sometimes. I'm just going to have to, learn to deal, I guess. But so when Mercury goes into your sign, that means it's going into the first house, and you are more in alignment with your message. I don't think a lot of people understand how valuable this can be, because when Mercury is in the 12th house, it can be very intuitive, but it might not be very practical. It might not be very grounded in the way that you communicate, in the way that you are thinking. And so I feel like there's more of a clear-headed way that you're going to be, your brain is going to be working, and your mouth is going to be working. And this is very, very important, because when we're communicating, we're not just talking to ourselves. We're interacting with others in one way, shape, or form. And whether you're interviewing for a job, trying to meet the love of your life, or simply, trying to create a social media presence, you have to be coming from a place of authenticity as well. And when Mercury is in your sign, you're going to be in alignment with what you stand for. And on the 11th, Venus goes into Leo, and there's a full moon at 19 degrees of Aquarius. So it's quite a busy day. I'm recording this on the full moon in Capricorn. So this is a month before those two transits. And, so it's always interesting whenever there's a full moon on the same day that there's another fairly important transit that's occurring. So Venus in Leo, again, that 12th house, but the full moon in the house that you ruled, the 6th house of work and health, and your pets, and your daily routine. So with Venus in the 12th, there could be some kind of art project that you are doing behind the scenes. You could be seeing somebody romantically behind the scenes. Why would you do something like that? Maybe because you don't want to be on the radar with friends and family. Or even your children, if you have any. You want to get to know somebody and you don't want other people to kind of stick their nose into your situation. Now, of course, there might be a few Virgos out there who are having an affair, who are cheating on their partners, or maybe the person that you are dealing with is cheating on their partner and you have to keep it on the down low. So, oh well, I guess some people are doing that, maybe. Now, the interesting thing is there's a full moon in the 6th house. Now, full moons can be, the big reveal. So in the 6th house, it can reveal secrets. The 6th house is the workplace. So if you are having some kind of an affair, maybe it could be discovered, although I will say that the effect of the full moon, I don't think it's going to be more than a few days. So unless everything goes down on the 11th and you get caught with your pants down or whatever, that's not going to manifest in that way. But you know what? It could be like a situation where you or the other person in the office, like your coworker or your boss, reveals their feelings for you. That could be it. On the 20th, Mars goes into Gemini. I have already said I'm going to be doing a separate video for all the signs on Mars and Gemini, because that is a very important transit, a very unusual transit as far as I can tell. But, I'm not an expert in these things, even though I've been doing this for 7 years. The predictive side of astrology is not my main focus, so I'm not somebody that really knows all the details of like how long a transit usually lasts with some of these personal planets like Mars. But I'm just going to say that when Mars goes into Gemini on the 20th, it's not going to come out of Gemini until the end of March of 2023. And that month itself is going to be a phenomenal month. But that seems very strange to me. What we're looking at here is, it seems to me like we're looking at a 7-month period. And the Mars transit through one sign is about 6 weeks. So you're talking about, and this is all because Mars is going to retrograde. But still, it just seems like it's a personal planet. It shouldn't be such a long transit like that in one sign, and yet it is. So this for you, it's a fellow mutable sign, Virgo, and this is actually your 10th house of career. So this is going to go gangbusters in 2022, going into 2023. Now, I'll discuss more about that effect of Mars retrograde in the 10th later on, in another video. But I just wanted to say that right at this moment, when Mars is still direct, you may be feeling a shot in the arm when it comes to your career. You might be feeling raring to go. You have all kinds of energy. You're already probably a hard worker being a Virgo, but you have the ambition to make it happen. I typically don't see Virgo people as ambitious, but you have to understand, I don't mean that they're not hardworking or that they don't accomplish goals. Ambition to me is a good part of ambition to me is the ego that wants to make its impact on the world. When I say ego, I'm not necessarily saying it derisively, but certainly that the person has this desire to be, known by others in some way. Now, of course, there could also be the desire for a lot of money. like a successful life or a successful reputation. The 10th house can be, your ambition, your success, your reputation. So those can all be 10th house matters. But typically, because Virgo is associated with the servant, there's a humility attached to Virgo. But remember that the sun sign of Virgo is right next to Leo. So that might make some so-called humble Virgos anything but. So we have to look at the whole picture to get the full story. But anyway, yeah, so at this time, you may be quite feisty when it comes to going after what you want. Be careful about any kind of clashes with people that have authority over you, or just authority figures in general, like, police officers or what have you. Don't be too much on the warpath, because that could lead to a confrontation that you don't want to have. And actually, Mars has a positive side that is very energetic. But as often happens, there's a fine line. A person can be very full of energy, but they can also be, it just takes one little thing to tip them over into the camp of being aggressive and that sort of thing. So being able to balance these two things can be very good. What else? Well, I'm just going to leave that for now, because I'm going to be doing a separate video on that. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Virgo, and that is your sign. So there you go. Sun in your sign, more like yourself. Obviously, your official solar return is when the sun goes back to the same degree of sun or rising that it was at when you were born. But remember that this is not necessarily going to correspond with your exact date of birth. Yeah, I'm speaking, the exact date, because the sun goes into Virgo at different dates each year. It doesn't always go in on the 22nd of August. So being able to realize that means that you can feel that sense of, noticing when the cycle starts, if perhaps it's a day before or a day after. On the 25th, I think I said that the sun goes into Virgo on the 22nd of August, right? Well, the reason I'm asking is because I went back and talked about Mars in Gemini. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I had to start this over again, so I'm a little bit confused about that. On the 25th, Mercury goes into Libra, and that is your second house of earned income. So going into September, this can be good for the money sector. Mercury in this area means that you're thinking about your finances. You might be creating a budget or creating some kind of a chart that tracks where the money that you make and the money that you spend goes. So that's way beyond a budget. It's really a tracking system. And Virgos love a good system, don't you? So you might be getting involved with that for some reason. There certainly, you might have your mind on your money and money on your mind. On the 27th, we have a new moon at 4 degrees of Virgo, so very early degree of Virgo. So this is an example where if your rising sign is 5 degrees of Virgo, to the end of the sign, this is actually going to fall in your 12th house. So for a lot of you, the new moon a month later in Libra will be more of a new cycle for you, because it will you'll have the sun in that first house in conjunction with the moon. It's all good. Don't worry about it. That's why, these general readings can still be valid, because it's going to happen sooner or later for the most part. So regardless, these are your new moon wishes. Even if it's falling in your 12th house, that can be good too, because that's the womb of creation, and you can really use that. I was going to say the word cauldron, but then I sound like some kind of a witch or something, and I don't call myself a witch. I always feel like a chill runs up my spine when I say the word witch, even though I know that there are people who consider themselves witches who do astrology, but I don't know. I think I was a witch in a past life and got burned at the stake, so I have some issues with that word, I guess. But anyway, back to the reading. I mean, this is a time to really think about the kind of things that you want to bring into your reality in the next 12 months, Virgo. It can be a wonderful exercise to do, whether you believe it or not. You don't have to believe it. As somebody with the moon in Virgo, the moon is supposed to be an intuitive body, and I find myself a lot of times kind of filtering all of these things through my intellect. And that can be good for discernment, but it can stifle that flow that the intuition can provide. And also just that sense of the magical. If you're just like trying to prove things all the time and only believe in things that you have a guarantee about, it really cuts off the mysterious and the magical, and we don't want to do that. So you can just simply look at it as, I'm going to plant some seeds of intention. They're my intentions. I'm not waving a magic wand here. I'm simply believing that I have some agency when it comes to co-creating my reality. I don't have complete control, so I can't completely create my reality, but I'm not completely helpless either. So I hope that this resonated with you, Virgo, and if you would like a private reading to look at the year ahead, luckily, I'm not just doing readings for the beginning of each Gregorian calendar. I'm actually starting whenever somebody orders a reading and saying, okay, let's look at the next 12 months and see what kind of interesting transits are presenting themselves. I have a double reading that is a sale price, because you're ordering like a double reading. So it's an hour of chart analysis with an hour of transits for the upcoming 12 months for a special price, and that's called a deep dive reading. If you like the tarot and would like a combination tarot reading and chart analysis, that's called the whole enchilada. And I have standalone readings as well. I'm at ReinaMoonAstrology.com. The link is below. Thanks for listening. Take care. Have a great month. Bye.